Well, it's almost the end of 2024. This has been a very interesting year. We've had some really good stuff released over the course, and, well, there's been something for everyone. Considering this is the year I got back into review making, I thought it'd be a good way to send 2024 off with my list of top 10 figures this year. This isn't figures that necessarily just came out this year, this is figures I got over the course of it. The rules are very simple. It has to be figures that I purchased or received this year, not ones that necessarily came out this year, and I'm only going to give one entry per character. I'd rather not flood this list out with a load of red alerts. Although he hasn't actually made the list this year, funny enough. So before we start with the list, I think we best start off with some honourable mentions. Firstly is Recon Barricade from the first movie. I picked this guy up from Toy Fu at TF Nation this year, and I would have added him to the list if I didn't own this guy originally up until last year when I sold him, and I instantly regretted it. Also, as a kid, I lost the frenzy, so having this guy again has been a delight. I also want to mention Henkei Megatron. He did just miss out on the list by just a little bit, but honestly, I'd be going miss without mentioning him. I was generally surprised with how much traction the video I did on him got. Like, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for checking that out. I honestly wouldn't be anywhere without it. Oh, and also G1 Megatron is here too. So, with that out of the way, let's get to the countdown. TN. Starting from the bottom of the list, we have Generation Select's Antagony. I wasn't necessarily going to pick up this figure because I wasn't really too interested in the mold. It looked cool, but the only reason I really picked it up was because it was available in-game at discounted price, and I bought it on the same day I went to go see TF1 with Paper Plane, and my word is this a lovely figure. Despite sharing a mold with Inferno, she carries it so well, it feels completely like a different character. Plus, if you don't like the Inferno head on her, you can always switch to the Scavenger head. I love the fact that they actually included this. Honestly, Antagony is one of the best figures I got this year, and I'm proud to own her. Antagony is such a great figure, you owe it to yourself to try out this mold at least once. 9! Now, number 9 was originally Antagony, and I am shocked at how this figure just kind of swooped in and took it away from her. I had owned Legacy Cybertron Starscream for a while, and it didn't really hit me at first, but over the past couple weeks, I have fallen for this figure. It's such a solid representation of the character from the show. I can just hear Michael Dobson's voice coming from it. The fact it comes with a little cyber key and can still do the swords is brilliant. Although one of my swords is a bit flimsy, so I just ignore that. I know that sword issue makes the figure faulty, but you know what? You can't convince me this conniving bastard does not deserve to be on the list. Oh no, I don't want anything, I just ate. It's not often these days I find a figure that I didn't even know existed. And it's not often I actually see that figure in person as my first experience finding out about it. Ow, I just hit my laptop. When I found Universal Studios Snarl this year, I was honestly shocked. I didn't know it had existed, and this colour scheme makes it feel like he was actually supposed to be in the film. It makes no sense whatsoever. Why is he the exclusive that got sold in Universal Studios? Everyone else appeared in the films, but Snarl didn't appear in the films. And got a colour scheme based on what he would have looked like in the film. This is weird. What is going on? But boy am I glad he exists. He works so well, and I actually smile every time I see him. He's just that little fun guy. What was that film starring Steve Carell and Morgan Freeman called? It was Evan Almighty. Okay, now this is the figure. No shit, Sherlock. Originally I was going to get the comic edition Shockwave, I even had it on pre-order. But then I found this in a shop with Henkei Megatron, and I got them both for 60 quid, together. I'm not even joking. One of the things that was putting me off the comic edition a little bit was the fact it was missing the accessories. And honestly, the accessories really make this figure. It's a great base mold to start with, but with those accessories, it just elevates it up to that pristine level. Oh gosh, this lives up to the hype. I mean, the robot mode is sweet, the combined robot mode is wonderful. That upside down gun mode is... okay, it's okay, yeah. Okay, it's an upside down gun, what are we going to do? And that spaceship mode is gorgeous! I just can't get enough of it. It's brilliant! You want to know the best part? It has no virus! Sits. honestly I've not been interested in Commander figures that much. I mean, they look cool, but a lot of time they take up a lot of space and are quite expensive, so I've never really thought, yeah, I definitely want to get that. Except for this one time. This year, we had an announcement for a figure, and I knew I wanted it. When Magmatron went up for pre-order, I put my money down right away, and when he arrived, I was a little disappointed. Something about it just didn't work for me. I'm not sure what it was, because now I absolutely love the figure. All three beast modes are great, and both the combined robot mode and combined dino mode are just lovely. I love them. There are a couple steps in the transformation which do irk me a little bit, but you know what? I love this giant bugger too much to let those get in the way. Also, I still am wondering to the question, if he is by himself, is he still considered a crowd? Hive. When I saw the set announced, I only wanted it for Breakdown. I was honestly planning to sell off Windsweeper, but then the day it arrived, and my reaction was a bit of the opposite way I was expecting. I love both these guys, but Windsweeper just captured me in the right way. He just feels more enjoyable in my hands, and he has a transformation that leads well from both modes. Plus, Target Masters are a bonus, but I always forget their names. But let's not leave Breakdown out of this. He's brilliant as well. Like, I never owned the bulkhead versions of this mold, but I can tell you now, this is the best use of the mold. Breakdown wears the mold the best, and he actually captures the prime version of the character for me a bit better. Honestly, this is an underrated set, and I would recommend people go get it, or at least get a bulkhead and a needle nose. Thor. When we got the announcement about HasLab Unicron, I was really put off it. That price, the scale, it just didn't suit what I looked for in collecting, so I've decided I wasn't going to go for it. But when they announced Star Saber, I was interested in it. However, at the time, I was jobless, so I didn't want to go in spending all that money on those figures, knowing I probably wouldn't be able to afford it anyway. But then Deathsaurus was announced. I was so hyped for this figure, and it kind of came at the right time. I used my first month's pay to back Deathsaurus, and then the day came where he arrived, and it was actually the first figure I got this year, and he was honestly the top of my list for a while. Heck, even the Micromasters has kept him up there. I love Peepo and Bota so much. This figure is goddamn worth it. You owe it to yourself to try out this figure at least once. I know there's no way of really buying it outside of conventions for a good price, so if you have a friend who owns it, ask them politely if they'll let you play with it. But not me, I'm not that friend. If you ever come near me or my Deathsaurus again, I will put you in a liquid strainer. Me? Oh, Rise of the Beast Nemesis Prime. Sure, this thing is not the best. It has that kibble at the back, and honestly, it's not the best figure in the world, but it's more so what it represents for me. When I bought this guy at Comic-Con, I was actually hanging out with friends who I had known since lockdown and been playing with online for years, and it was the first time we actually got to meet in person, and that's a memory that this figure will carry with me for the rest of my life now. Those memories of finally meeting people I've known for years. But the mold itself also takes me back to TF Nation 2023, my first TF Nation. I got to meet so many new friends there, and what I always remember is when we used to go back to their hotel at night, we would all have like a little toy meet. A lot of them had the Optimus Prime version of this figure, and we all just had a lot of fun. One of the things we used to do with them is we would make them, in the words of a man named Adam, whose name is short for Adame, have sex with each other. Yeah, we should all be in prison. Mountain Dew? This is how you reconnect me with my childhood. I owned the original Battle Begins Optimus Prime as a child, and I actually sold them off last year. Do kind of regret doing it, but you know what, it didn't have a place in my collection anymore. Then I bought this guy this year, and all those memories came flooding back to me. The transformation is so much similar to what it was back then. This guy takes me back to that day of going to Toys R Us and picking the Battle Begins 2-pack and G1 Red Alert at the same time. And the animated 2-pack really takes me back to my childhood days, and it makes me look back on who I used to be and how much I've grown since then. I look back at those school days and I think, how proud would I be of myself now? And I think how far I've come. I'm honestly glad I went out and got this figure. Coincidentally, when I bought this Optimus, I also bought a Megatron with it, just like the original 2-pack. But wait, which Megatron did I pick up? Well, you see, that figure is 1. Studio Series Concept Art Megatron. Yes, I am aware people aren't a fan of this. I am aware the alt modes are not the best. I'm not particularly a fan of the jet mode myself, but I love the tank mode. It feels right. Something about it just catches my imagination and goes, that's Megatron, that is a tank. And the robot mode, okay, it gives that big what if. What if Megatron was in Bumblebee? What if he was in Rise of the Beasts? And it gives off a commanding presence of not just what if he ruled Cybertron, but also my heart. Especially with that Waluigi mustache of his. Honestly, this thing just takes the cake for me and proves that he is my #1 figure of 2024. Let me know what's on your list in the comments below. Thank you guys so much, not just for your support this year, but your support over the years. We're actually coming up on the 10th anniversary of this channel, and it's weird to think that I've been basically on YouTube for 10 years. I know things have been slow this year, but I'm going to try and improve that over the next year or so, and we'll see where we go from here. It will be an interesting journey to say the least. Hopefully you guys have a good New Year's. See you guys in 2025, okay? Take care of yourselves. See you soon.